Uh, Hello, chair members and the joint committee. Thank you for the opportunity to testify in support of hospital training H172S1401 and Operation House Call H2221S1398. My name is Jonathan Gardner. I'm a 20-year-old and live in East Bridgewater with my mom and dad. I am a self-advocate, cancer survivor, and decision maker who happens to have autism. I'm the official ambassador for Operation House Call, where I get to teach medical students how to best communicate with each patient as an individual and give them the best possible care. Uh, I'm the type of guy that has learned from a very young age how to turn a traumatic event into a positive difference. Both these bills are so very important to me because I experienced a lot of different situations before, during, and after my cancer diagnosis. Some were good and some were bad. I feel so strongly that when a person that may happen to have a disability goes into the hospital and may present with a so-called behavior, that everyone needs to understand that people have behaviors because they're trying to communicate something. During my cancer treatments, I had to be rushed to the ER because I felt like I was having a heart attack. My mom came as my support person. My so-called behaviors that the nurse seemed to be confused about was that I could not talk because all the pain I was in. That is why my mom did the talking for me. The nurse saw the word autism on my chart and was so focused on that. When she did talk to me, she spoke to me like I was a baby in a very demeaning voice. My mom told her how much pain I was in, and we both tried asking for water because I was getting dehydrated. The nurse would tell me to relax. I was crying and shaking. I felt like I was not getting the medical attention I needed. She kept saying things to my mom about my autism, and my mom kept telling her that I was here because of my oncologist said to get here because of my cancer. If this nurse had looked beyond my diagnosis and seen the whole person, she would have been able to get me the care I truly needed and deserved. In class, we called this diagnosis overshadowing. This is just one of the many stories that happened to me. I am proud to be the official ambassador for Operation House Call. As human beings, we are all different, whether you have a disability or not. Your voice matters, or any a way in which you communicate matters. Operation House Call and the hospital training bill will give healthcare professionals more tools to better understand the needs of patients like me. This training will result in better quality and more inclusive healthcare for everyone. Let's pass these bills and change the way people who happen to have disabilities are treated. All our lives are worthy and matter. Thank you.
Hello, committee chairs. Thank you for the opportunity to testify in support of Senate Bill Hospital Training H172 S1401 and Operation House Call H2221 S1398. My name is Nancy Gardner. I live in East Bridgewater, Massachusetts with my husband and two amazing sons. One of my sons happens to have autism, and you just heard from him today. Both these bills are extremely important to me, and with your support can become life-saving and changing for so many people living with disabilities and their families. My son Jonathan, who happens to have autism and is a cancer survivor, was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma at 18 years old. It took almost 5 months to get him this diagnosis. We went from doctor to doctor without any answers. Most of the doctors we saw asked many questions about his autism and not the pain we were there for. One even told me to bring him to a psychiatrist because he felt it was all in his head, even though Jonathan himself told him he was in pain. Finally, we met a doctor that promised Jonathan that she would find out what was going on with him. She got him scheduled for an MRI, and he had to endure 3 MRIs because every time he told the technicians that he could not lie still because of the pain, I was told that he should take Ativan, which is an anxiety medicine, as it will calm him down because they said it was the noise and sounds that were bothering him because of his autism. And I want to stress that word I was told. No one took the time to talk to Jonathan as the person he is. All questions are directed just to me, and I did my best to redirect them to Jonathan so he could explain to them how he felt. But he was treated like he was not even in the room. The 3rd MRI was when he got sedated. That is when he was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, which is a very rare, fast-growing cancer that spreads quickly. All this time it took to have Jonathan's voice validated, the tumor continued to grow on his vertebrae and nerves, and he ended up in a wheelchair because he could not walk from the pain. There was just too much focus on the diagnosis of his disability, and that is what caused him to not get the medical attention that he needed. Just recently, Jonathan had to go for an endoscopy. 2 days before the scheduled endoscopy, I received a phone call telling me, unfortunately, they will not be able to treat Jonathan at their facility because he did not fit their criteria. They told me it was his autism, and they were very concerned for not just his safety, but the safety of their staff. Training for medical students is so important for everyone. The patients benefit because they will get the proper care they deserve and need. The medical students benefit because they will become more confident in their profession and how they treat patients with disabilities. Trainings will help to make healthcare truly inclusive because everyone deserves to have the best healthcare. Jonathan and I feel so very blessed to be part of the Operation House Call family. Knowing that his story can make a difference and help others brings so much peace to our hearts. There is no better way to learn than firsthand from an individual experience. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy, and thank you, Jonathan, for sharing your experience and being here today. And I'm just so sorry that you weren't able to get the care that you needed. And it took so long to get the care you needed. And you're lucky to have, I think, a strong advocate, right? And your mom and the rest of your family. But that shouldn't be. So thank you for being here, Representative.
I also want to say thank you to both of you. Jonathan, it sounds like you have a super ability to actually impact change. What you're advocating for is not going to only support people who have autism or who have anything on the spectrum. It's going to help everybody. When patients are believed and listened to, they have better health outcomes. And we know that there's a lot of disparity of health outcomes for a lot of people, different kinds of people. So thank you for your super abilities to communicate to us and to educate the medical professionals. And you do have an incredible mom, and often laws are only changed because of advocates and often because of their parents who force us to start listening in different ways and changing and acting. So thank you for your leadership.
And thank you for those kind words.